People say I live in my head. Indeed, this is true. Indeed, after the enormous amount of mind control programming, it's natural that I would live in my head because my brain is heavily compartmentalized and all sorts of strange things are going on. Also, I suffer from severe schizophrenia as well as amnesiac barriers. Indeed, I'm still trying to work out exactly what has gone on, exactly what has happened to me over the years. Indeed, I'm not sure I did murder anyone in Russia. This is the thing. I may well have witnessed a GRU mass killing of dissidents, and therefore I was placed under amnesia by the GRU also. Having already been placed under amnesia by the Freemasons, it seems that I have undergone a certain amount of dual programming by the British intelligence services, especially the Masonic branches of it, and the Russian intelligence services. Indeed, these networks seem to be fighting for control of my coding. So it's all very interesting to note, indeed, the Russian overtones in my work thus far have occurred because of implanted thoughts implanted in my brain by the British intelligence services so that they can carry out the Blackwell legacy on me, as I've explained in several other videos. So I'm not going to tread into that terrain again. It is all very interesting to note that by my exposures of the British intelligence services, I seem to be annoying the Russians, which wouldn't normally make sense. Apart from the fact that British Masonic networks control large percentages of the Russian intelligence services, so it's interesting to note, indeed, Putin was himself maneuvered into the position he is in by certain networks of British intelligence for a Cold War II scenario. So it's interesting to consider that a lot of the ex-KGB troika were maneuvered into position by British intelligence operatives for the very purpose of causing a second Cold War. So it's all very interesting to note, indeed. How does this relate to my own mind control experimentation? Indeed, I seem to have got caught up in international espionage, and I witnessed the GRU doing something when I was in Vladikavkaz, which led to my incarceration in psychiatric facility number 74 on the outskirts of Voronezh, which from the outside looks like a factory. Indeed, it seems that this psychiatric facility was a branch of the Serbsky Institute in Moscow. So a lot of my memories of Serbia may be implanted. And I was actually in a facility run by the Serbsky Institute. So it's all very interesting to note, indeed. My amnesiac barriers are beginning to break down a little bit now. So it's possible that in the future I may begin to figure out more and more things, indeed. My girlfriend Catty was killed by System, who were a Russian neo-Nazi Satanist network, who were being run, interestingly, by Wiltshire police, operating with the authority of Grenville Lodge. Though I don't believe this is the only girlfriend of mine that has been killed by these Masonic brethren. Indeed, it seems I had a girlfriend at Grenville Lodge called Clara, who was also killed by the Freemasonic brethren. So it's interesting to note these Freemasons and their Satanist proxies keep killing my girlfriends as revenge against my exposures of these networks. So in the future, it will not be possible for me to connect with a female because of the potential that they may be killed by a network that dislike me. So it's all very strange to consider. Indeed, my mind control programming began at Grenville Lodge in 2012 and initially involved synthetic drug narco hypnosis, and torture programming to attempt to fracture my personality so that I could be utilized as an operative in a courier sense, i.e., relaying information from one operative to another. The idea was originally to place me in Eastern Europe as a courier. However, this did not work out according to plan because I rebelled against the Masonic networks and Department S34 while I was at Grenville Lodge and attempted to expose these networks, and therefore I was placed in the category of failed test subject. Indeed, this means that I've been monitored ever since, and indeed I did make my way to Eastern Europe, and I was mainly located in southwestern Russia, around Vladikavkaz, Voronezh, and Rostov-on-the-Don. Indeed, it's interesting to note that at the time there was a proliferation of neo-Nazi Satanist networks in these regions which were being run by the British police, and indeed these networks had me under constant monitoring during my time in southwestern Russia before I was captured by the GRU basically and placed in psychiatric facility number 74. Indeed, the GRU were aware that I was a test subject in the Grenville Lodge mind control experiment. So it's interesting to consider the GRU did not take too kindly to a trained schizophrenic super spy walking around in their territory, and therefore they classified me as a hostile agent and placed me in a psychiatric facility, i.e. psychiatric facility number 74 on the outskirts of Voronezh, which by all regards is really a mind control experimentation facility. So it's interesting to note that having run away from the Grenville Lodge mind control experiment, I was placed in a Russian GRU mind control experiment, which I also ran away from. So this means that there are lots of intelligence operatives observing my progress in life and basically capturing me at certain points and reworking my coding so that I can be programmed again. Indeed, it seems that the Russian GRU programmed me to become a far-right activist in the United Kingdom, which in many senses did occur despite my mental instability. And indeed, I was further programmed by Dr. Leonard Johnson of the British intelligence services, who is himself an initiate of the Process Church of the Final Judgment. Dr. Leonard Johnson programmed me with anti-Semitism, so it's interesting to consider. Indeed, the programming that I underwent from the GRU mainly involved anti-Islam. However, the Grenville Lodge crowd were concerned that I was beginning to realize things about the British Freemasons when I'd returned to the United Kingdom, that they programmed me with anti-Semitism to deflect from my trajectories into British Freemasonry and the role of British Freemasonry within the British intelligence services and the mind control experimentation at Grenville Lodge. So it's all very strange to note indeed. I witnessed a lot of paranormal phenomena while I was at Grenville Lodge. Indeed, I believe some aspects of these paranormal phenomena were Russian remote viewers, the disembodied souls of Russian remote viewers that were spying on Grenville Lodge, attempting to gain access to the mind control programming codes of the Grenville Lodge networks. Indeed, it's interesting to note that I also met some Russians while I was at Grenville Lodge who were observing the mind control experimentation going on at Grenville Lodge and attempting to learn the secrets of British Freemasonic mind control for their own use in their own mind control experiments, such as that went on at psychiatric facility number 74 on the outskirts of Voronezh, where I was located for several months in 2013. So it's all very interesting to consider, and a very strange scenario indeed. It's interesting the crossover between the cryptocracies, and this is leading me to believe that the supposed confrontation between the United Kingdom and Russia is actually a false conflict to cover up for something else. So it's all very strange indeed. Indeed, this mind control programming in Wiltshire is centered around the Green Lane Psychiatric Facility and Devizes, and such figures as Dr. Peter Cohen of the Mossad, who has been loaned to British intelligence by the Mossad for hypnoprogramming techniques, and his colleague, Dr. Peter Crofts, who is part of a Nazi right-wing organization within the UK. So it's interesting to consider that he reported me to the police for anti-Semitism when he is himself a Nazi. So it's all very interesting to consider the hypocrisy of these operatives. Indeed, Dr. Peter Crofts had a serious problem with my attitude as a person and attempted to place me within the legal structure and have me sent into the prison system, which is all very interesting to consider. Indeed, Dr. Peter Cohen of the Devizes Green Lane Psychiatric Institution believed I was a Russian, which is interesting to consider indeed. I do bear a passing resemblance to Russian mental patients and psychic warfare operatives who are trained schizophrenic super spies of the Russian Federation, though it's all very interesting to consider that some of the disembodied entities that I have witnessed have borne a passing resemblance to myself, and I believe these to have been Russian remote viewers spying on top secret British facilities such as the archives of Grenville Lodge. So it's all very strange to consider, and indeed I've also seen the ghosts of murdered people. Indeed, I'm pretty sure I witnessed a massacre by the GRU of dissidents, and therefore I had to be placed under amnesiac mind control programming because the GRU could not dispose of me very easily due to the fact I possessed a UK passport, and it would have caused an international scene, despite me being on the wanted list by Grenville Lodge operatives. However, this is all very strange. Indeed, Grenville Lodge are still monitoring me every day and checking up on their test subject, I myself, because I remain a test subject in the Grenville Lodge mind control experiment. No matter what I do, no matter where I go, I remain a test subject in the Grenville Lodge mind control experiment. Indeed, the Russian GRU also see me as a test subject of theirs, designated F4444, interestingly, and designated F4444 in the Voronezh Serbsky Institute branch mind control experiment. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed. These days, I remain designated TF84 in the Roundway experiment, which is also run by Department S34, as well as the Grenville Lodge experiment. Indeed, the Department S34 seem to run a lot of the mind control programming as outsourced by MI6 for their Mindgate mind control programming. Indeed, they have outsourced a lot of their mind control programming to Department S34, who are themselves British, American, and German intelligence operatives of a unique network, which does not technically come under the parameters of MI5 or MI6, but it's very much a branch of the British intelligence services. So it's all very interesting to consider. There does seem to be a huge overlap between British Freemasonry and Anglo-American Freemasonry and the Nazis. So it's all very strange. And indeed, Russian intelligence observed the operations and activities of these networks to gain knowledge for their own mind control experiments. So it's all very interesting to note that the Russian intelligence services are becoming increasingly angry at me for exposing British intelligence mind control operations. So it's all very interesting to note, considering the supposed conflict between the nations at this current hour. So it's all very, very, very interesting to consider indeed. I'm going to leave it there now because I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this piece. Indeed, I believe I may have witnessed something that the GRU did in Vladikavkaz, and therefore they placed me under Amnesiac programming, just as Grenville Lodge had placed me under Amnesiac programming. Indeed, I believe I witnessed certain activities there of the Grenville Lodge Freemasons that I cannot fully recall at this moment, including most probably the death of Clara, who was my British girlfriend at Grenville Lodge, who I believe was a beautiful blonde. So it's all very interesting to consider that the Freemason networks, at times utilizing satanic proxies, keep killing my girlfriends because of the exposures that I am doing. Indeed, as a valued test subject, apparently, I cannot be murdered at this time because they do not want to terminate the ongoing mind control experiment of me because of the amount of potential for study that I possess. And indeed, it's all very strange to consider that the Grenville Lodge Freemasons haven't killed me. Indeed, I expect these days they are hoping that I am driven crazy by the radiation, social isolation, and the voice to skull technology being used on me. Indeed, this is all part of a Zezetsung agenda, as perfected by the Stasi, which is now in full operation by the British police, who are themselves Masonic. So it's all very interesting to consider these networks are attempting to drive me crazy. And therefore, I would act out and be returned to a psychiatric research facility, such as Green Lane Psychiatric Hospital in Devizes, where I would become under the rule of thumb of Dr. Peter Cohen of Devizes Police, and therefore be placed back in the Roundway experiment in the catacombs beneath the Green Lane Psychiatric Facility. Indeed, this is not a prospect I particularly relish, but if it happens, it happens indeed. I'm going to leave it there now.